Everybody, happy Tuesday. I don't need my glasses to do this, but I kind of like the way I was looking in them today, so left them on for a moment to show you folks. Now that that fun is over, I want to ask a simple question of you all. What does it mean when someone says, "What can I do for you?" When someone says, "What can I do for you?" how often is your instinct to say nothing? Of the amount of times that you say nothing, how many times do you secretly have a list of things that you wish people would do without you having to ask, or just wish that you had the strength to do yourself? The other day, I had a terrible migraine. It was not by far one of the worst migraines I've ever had, but it was enough to stop me in my tracks. Actually, it should have been enough to stop me in my tracks, but I didn't let it. This is a problem. This is a recurring theme in my life, and especially when it comes to my migraines. I am very independent. I enjoy being independent. And even in the moments when I want help, my independent, stubborn Irish side comes out, and I force myself to do things I should not be doing at that particular moment. The other day, I had this migraine building. I'm about 2 weeks out, due for Botox, and I've noticed within the last few months, this last year, that I've been off my daily preventative medications. When I'm needing Botox around the 2-week mark, 10-day mark, my head is starting to irritate me. I've got terrible, terrible pressure here, and it feels like I was in a prize fight boxing match and lost. I always feel like my nose should be swollen and I should have black eyes. You know, like when you watch TV and you see someone that's had plastic surgery and their nose is all bandaged up and packed and their eyes look terrible? That's sort of what I expect to see in the mirror. Of course I don't, but that's the feeling. So if you can imagine that's what I think I look like, that's what it feels like on the inside. Terrible pressure and pain and building and building and building. I can't offhand remember what I did that day. I think I went to the dentist for a cleaning, and side note, that was actually one of my best dentist reports in years. I usually get tons of cavities, even though I've been diligent about brushing my teeth and all that kind of stuff. I'm also convinced, just like my eyes, that my medications were rotting my teeth. Also, in the years that I've been feeling better, I am more able to brush my teeth 2-3 times a day. I use fluoride at night. I mean, the things we take for granted when we're well, versus not feeling well. Brushing my teeth once a day was a miracle. Twice a day, not happening. So between that and the dry mouth and the pills, disaster. Anyhow, I ran a couple of errands. I came home. I felt a little funky. But I thought maybe there was a high humidity. It's been really hot in New York City. It's officially summer. So the temperatures are in the high 80s. The humidity is pretty heavy, intense. And, they keep saying it might rain, it might not rain. So I thought maybe that was it. Maybe I was dehydrated, all the things, right? Still running down those lists in my head every time I feel pain in my head. What could it be? What did I do? What can I do? What should I do next? I wish that as an expert in my migraine life, as I am now, that when I had pain, I knew exactly what to do. But there's no chart you can look at. There should be. And I'm thinking about making one up. But, there's a point of no return, that you need to treat your pain before it escalates. And then by the time you take that pill, it's too late to really help you. But then I have the choice between the lesser of the two evils, right? The anti-inflammatory or my pain pill. I don't particularly love the way the pain pill makes me feel, and something about having to admit defeat and take it is also a problem for me. So that's a thing. But also, this whole conversation is sort of about defeat in a way. So maybe about 2 hours, I let the pain and the pressure really escalate beyond what it needed to go. And I thought that it would go away, and sometimes it does, or I will it away. And I was trying to look at something on my computer and work, and it went bananas. So I couldn't even read to focus. it was out of control. So that's when I stopped in the middle of what I was doing and said, okay, this is ridiculous. I got up, I took the anti-inflammatory, and I look at the clock. Looking at the clock is always what I do because I time it. I give myself about a half hour, and usually within that half hour, if the anti-inflammatory is going to work, it does it in that half hour. It didn't this time. Which frustrates me, and I probably made that sigh at the time. So, I was about to go in the shower. I had just finished eating dinner, and I hemmed and I hawed and I walked about my house, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go in the shower. And if I have to take the pain pill when I come out, then I have to take the pain pill and be done with it. I went in the shower. I felt much worse in the shower. I threw some pajamas on, came back downstairs, and just stared at the clock. And it had already been like an hour and a half or something ridiculous since I took the anti-inflammatory. It had somewhat subsided the pain, but not the pressure. In terms of relieving migraines, the pills that I take to alleviate pain and even the anti-inflammatory don't tend to reduce the pressure I feel. Barometric pressure in the air is a very, very, very serious trigger for me, but there's no pill as of yet to alleviate that. And so that's really hard, really something I deal with. And I because I have a lot of stomach issues, again, probably from taking all those preventative medications on top of normal people acid reflux, I try not to throw as many pills down my gullet as I can. That reminds me. The other thing I thought was contributing to this particular migraine was something called a rebound headache. I'm going to do a brief discussion here, but I'm going to do a whole separate video on rebound migraines because it was something that I really had to educate myself about in the beginning of my migraine journey, and I didn't know there was such a thing, and it is real and it is serious. But for our purposes in this video, I have a million small things wrong with me. I hurt my foot last summer at the gym, and it's been hardening on and off, and I've been doing all these things to take care of it. I finally saw a new foot doctor this same week, and he wanted me to take anti-inflammatory medication. Not the one I normally take for migraines, but it was an ibuprofen of 800 milligrams. He wanted me to take it 3 times a day for like 10 days at least. I knew that was never going to happen for 2 reasons. I have horrific acid reflux, like I just said, and too many pills down my gullet doesn't help. The other is that if I take too much so-called pain medication, anti-inflammatories, aspirins, anything, even on the low dose, Tylenol, I don't know about the Tylenol, I don't take it that often, but my head gets tricked into that feeling. Because I live with a chronic migraine brain, my brain is always about to freak out. My blood vessels are swollen, if you'd say, and so they're always on the verge of being triggered to create a migraine. When they get used to the anti-inflammatory, which takes the swelling out, as soon as you stop, pretty much, my head gets extra inflamed, if you will, and it wants the medication back. And so in order to get you to take the medication, it gives you headaches. But I'm using the word headache and I mean migraine. I mean, it is the exact same pain as if a migraine came on just out of nowhere. And so I knew this would happen. I had told the foot doctor this wasn't going to last, but I gave it a few days because I hadn't treated that foot with medication in the year that it's hurt, and it was helping. And otherwise I was having trouble walking and stuff. So anyway, this was all what happened, compilation of events, so to speak. Anyway, I'm out of the shower now. I'm downstairs, and I know that I'm feeling worse. The pain is sort of subsided, but the pressure is worse if possible. I tell myself I am going to just do a few things and sit down, right? But who listens to themselves, right? I start chopping up peppers and onions because I think if I distract myself, it'll help. Caramelizing them for a meal for the next day. I'm chopping up fruit that I no longer feel like eating because I feel like throwing up from my pain. But I'm doing these things. Okay, I'm just going to make tea, I tell myself, and sit down. My mother, meanwhile, has asked me 6 times if she can do something for me. And I've said no. But I really meant yes. So why didn't I say yes? A couple of reasons. Stubbornness, independence, and somehow finally relenting that you're in pain and need help brings out the worst in me. I don't know about you. Until finally, I had to literally say to myself, Donna, you are losing your fucking mind. Go sit down. And that's what I did. When I have terrible migraine pain, I can't bend down. Putting my head down hurts worse. I walked into my living room, sat on the couch, and normally would have probably cried back in the old days. But this time I just said, you know what? I need you to stop what you're doing, and I need help. And this is what I need. I need you to find the ice pack that I like. It's a thin, light weight pack, because anything with weight on it hurts extra when I have a migraine. Even back in the day wearing earrings, when I had a migraine, nothing could touch my face. She knows the pack I'm talking about. She knows where it is. She goes and gets it, brings it to me. If you're looking for that pack, check out the video that is entitled Big Headaches and Small Bodies. There's a list of resources in there, and I can repost them in this video's description as well if you need. She does that. I pour myself a glass of ice water. I ask her to bring me tea. She asks me what tea. And now, because I'm in charge of organizing the shelves in my kitchen to my personal preference, I know I can visualize where the box of tea is, and I'm trying to explain whatever and how long and what do you want and all the things. And it's in the midst of all of this that it occurs to me to do this video. Friends, I am telling you, when you need help, ask for it. Better yet, train people how to help you. Back in the old days when I was way sicker than I was on Friday, I wanted help desperately and needed it. But I literally didn't have the strength or the energy to have to explain where the tea was, how long it has to go in the microwave for, if I wanted honey, how to bring it to me, where my pain pills were. The thought of all of that was almost as hard as me forcing myself up to get what I needed myself. And I could do neither, so a lot of times I just laid in bed and prayed and hoped somebody would walk past me, or that, I don't know, the Holy Ghost would get me and I could just leap out of my bed. That never happened, but eventually I would just drag myself. A lot of times I was home alone and had to, but a lot of times I wasn't. But this is what I'm talking about, is about asking for help. But to set yourself up to be in a place where you don't have to go through all of those things. So what I thought about in the midst of this migraine pain, while my mother was making my tea, and she did a wonderful job, is that we can set ourselves up for success. We don't have to feel bad about it. We can ask for what we need, and to help alleviate the stress of having to explain what we need, teaching the people that are around us the most how to help us, okay? If you live with people or have people that are close to you in distance, neighbors, friends, people that have keys to your house, somebody that you can count on when the chips are down, the people that are going to be in contact with you when you're in your lowest state, where you're normally not hanging out with everybody, those people need to know what you need. They need to know where your pain pills are. I like to label my pill bottles. One says anti-inflammatory across it. One says pain. I keep it in a separate bag so people know when I say go in my my daily meds bag, get me the bottle that says this. There's no confusion. Okay, that's a great tip. The next thing is show them where your ice pack is, your heating pad. What are your tools for survival when you're in your own environment? What drinks do you like? Where is your tea? How do you like your tea served? If you need Vicks Vapor Rub, if you need the smelling salts, the peppermint essential oils, whatever you need, show them where they are. Another really good tip I want to point out in the midst of this, because I didn't write it down in my notes, but I thought about it after, is that when I was at the height of my migraine illness, and sorry, I didn't shut the volume off my phone, and I was going to be, God forbid, having to go to the hospital or pass out, and taking all these kinds of combinations of serious drugs. The people that were around me, my brother, my parents, I typed up Donna's medications, because they changed so often, and I would list what I took and what dose, and I would make them carry a copy of it in their wallets, purses, whatever, so that if they were with me and something happened to me and I couldn't verbalize what was happening to me, they knew to give to the doctor or whoever, this is what she takes. On that paper, I also wrote what my pain plan was, if you will. At that time, I had a lot of different scenarios. Take this, if the pain doesn't break, take that. There was countless drugs. There was muscle relaxers involved. There were lots of stuff involved. And so that was all on that paper. I kept a copy at my desk at work. I kept a copy in my wallet. I kept copies everywhere. And every time something changed, I updated all said copies. It was good in terms of medical record keeping, but also in case of emergency. That's super important. So please make sure that people in your life that are around you that will be near you have access to it. Keep a copy in your medication bag, if that helps, in your home, not the one you take with you. Okay? Let's see. Ice packs, pain pills, tea, all of the things. The other super important thing for me is maybe it's not those things. Maybe you have your pills next to you or you don't need pills or whatever it is. But if you're feeling low, and I think we get, as chronically ill people, we get used to being alone and sometimes prefer it. You don't like a lot of people in your face when you don't feel good because it takes a lot of energy to interact with somebody, even if it's just mundane conversation. And it's just, you're struggling so hard that you can't even pay attention to what the person is saying to you. That I think we forget, or I forgot, that we need company sometimes, and distractions, and laughter. And someone to be honest with. Like, I really feel like I am dying. I'm struggling. I use the word dying in a way less serious manner than it should be. That word should be taken. But I always felt like when I said that to somebody, okay, stop, I don't feel good, was my way of saying, hey, pay attention to me. I don't think I can manage what's happening to me anymore. And more often than not, I never got a response that I wanted. That's something I struggled with back in season 1 and the episodes about victories and validation. But it's more like, hey, pay attention to me. I don't say this lightly. Something else is happening to me or the pain is too great. I'm going to need your help. In my mind, that's what I was saying. I need your help. But it wasn't what I was actually saying. So now what we actually have to say is, I need your help. I need you to blow out that candle that's causing my migraine, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. I need the tea made. I need to put the pepper goddamn down and let it be caramelized by somebody else or not at all, and that's fine too. So that's all of those things. The other thing is this person, neighbor, people you live with, whoever, your person, if you will, people, could you come over? I don't have the mental strength to watch TV or play a card game, but I could use some company. I might be a bore. I might have to go lay down in a dark place. You might have to come in my home. It might be dark and freezing and miserable for you. But could you come over for a half hour, 3 hours? I really just need somebody. I need to feel safe and loved and seen and heard and validated. I'm going out of my mind. Sometimes I don't think I knew enough to ask that, but that's probably what I needed. Especially at night when I was sleeping, or, well, pretending to sleep. The world was sleeping. And when you're sick and scared, you sort of just want someone to love on you and be in it with you, right? No one is ever really in it with you, even if they have all the best intentions and live with you and love you. They can't be in it with you because they don't know what you're really feeling. And sometimes you don't know what you're really feeling and really can't explain it. But maybe you could come lay in my bed with me while I take a nap. Or stay downstairs while I take a nap. Feeling that human connection. Can you tell me a joke? Can you distract me? Tell me what's going on in your life. I want to hear about somebody else. Because as a chronically ill person, all you're ever thinking about, 90% of the time, especially when you're in pain, is yourself. Should I take the pill? Should I not take the pill? What did I do to create this? Should I call the doctor? Is it a Saturday and I can't get a hold of the doctor? Is this an emergency? Is this regular shit? Is it, and you're sick to death of yourself. And you want someone that you can be vulnerable with and sick around. And I know that those people are hard to come by, but I have a handful of people, literally. And I'm grateful for each and every one of them. And those are the people that when they did show up for me, whether I asked for it or not, helped. Everything helps. And you need to accept the help and be willing to help, because I guarantee you, if it was the shoe was reversed, you would be doing anything you could for that person. And we really just need to ask for the help. So when someone says, do you need help? You need to respond, yes. 1,000 times, yes. And this is what I need. Training people ahead of time is a good idea, I think, if you can. Or leaving a list of directions, on your kitchen counter or whatever. Make sure somebody has a spare key that can get in case there's an emergency and you can't call for help yourself. Or get what you need. And now that I'm trying to teach you guys, I wonder if in my truly dark moments, if I had vocalized, please don't go to work, I don't think I'm going to survive today. Please don't go to the store, I don't think I can get my pain medication. How my story would have been different. Ultimately, I ended up being smart about it and leaving pain pills at my desk at my job, upstairs by my bed in my nightstand. I always have a drink with me no matter where I go, what I do. I'm going to a restaurant, there's a water in my purse. Years of training because there are pills in my purse. And if I have to take one and I'm stuck in traffic or whatever it is, I've got it. So learn from my mistakes and ask for help when you need it. And even if it's not as perfect as it would have been if you did it yourself, it is better than struggling through it yourself, making yourself sicker, and beating yourself up for really no reason. You have enough to worry about. Let the love in. So that's my 2 cents for today. Feel well. Until next time.